Charles Hamilton, a traveling doctor in 18th century Somerset, UK, was a dapper, charming suitor who could have his pick of the ladies, and according to some accounts, often did. But it was love at first sight when the doctor laid eyes upon his landlady's niece, the beautiful but naive Mary Price. On July 16, 1746, at St. Cuthbert's Church in Wells, Somerset, Charles, or, as the parish register has it, James Hamilton and Mary Price, were married by the Reverend Mr. Kingstone. For 2 months, the couple traveled through Somerset as husband and wife, selling quack remedies, unproven cure-alls that often had little medical value. Still, on September 13, in a nearby town called Glastonbury, Mary denounced her husband to the town authorities. It turned out that Charles was missing a vital piece of equipment for Mary's long-term happiness, a penis. When still a child, her family moved to Angus in Scotland until, at about 14, Mary put on her brother's clothes and set out on the road back to England alone. From this moment, Mary lived as a man, going by the names of James, George, and Charles Hamilton in the years that followed. In Northumberland, as Charles Hamilton, he entered the service of Dr. Edward Green, an mountebank, or seller of quack medicines. He then worked for Dr. Finlay Green before setting up independently as an unqualified doctor. In May 1746, he arrived at Wells in Somerset and lodged in the house of Mary Creed, meeting her niece and falling helplessly in love. This fateful act led to the marriage that would cast him into infamy. A deposition from Mary Price says that she and Hamilton traveled selling medicines after marriage. She confronted her husband when they were in Glastonbury, a town just a few miles away from their home in Wells. Hamilton admitted the truth to Price, who, in turn, instantly ratted him out. The story was unusual enough at the time to attract the attention of the local newspaper, the Bath Journal. According to those reports, after news of the arrest, many people visited the prison to gawp at Hamilton, described as being bold and impudent. It added that, it is publicly talked that she has deceived several of the fair sex by marrying them. Another report says that at the trial, the prosecuting attorney, Henry Gould, misspelled as gold in the newspapers, claimed that Hamilton had been married 14 times. During the trial, members of Hamilton's community wrote a letter to the clerk asking for severe punishment. They demanded public humiliation to ensure that Hamilton would never be able to live as a man again. The severity of Hamilton's sentence, and the terms in which the court delivered it, reflected the outrage and perplexity the case had aroused, and we, the court, they said, do sentence her, or him, whichever he or she may be, to be imprisoned 6 months, and during that time to be whipped in the. He continued to sell his remedies surrounded by fascinated crowds who flocked to see him. British newspaper archive at 3-week intervals, until Christmas 1746. Hamilton was whipped publicly in 4 different towns. That might have been the end of the saga for Hamilton if it weren't for the novelist Henry Fielding. Now considered the founder of the English novel, Fielding hurriedly cashed in on the salacious scandal, claiming he had his information from the mouth of Hamilton himself. However, he likely never met the person he satirized in his work, and it was instead cobbled together from court reports and his own filthy imagination. The obscure and pornographic pamphlet was published anonymously. Like a Georgian-era 50 Shades of Grey, it was badly written, salacious, and sold out almost immediately. In his version, she had been brought up in the strictest principles of virtue and religion, but was seduced into a vile amours by her friend and Johnson, an enthusiastic Methodist, and transactions not fit to be mentioned passed between them. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.